Evening, ladies and gents, how are you doing? Two big stories in the news today from our pal, the Stormtrooper, the charmless Dalek himself, Keir Starmer. He's on the offensive again, doing what people like Starmer and his ilk do best, which is running a massive, authoritarian, overbearing nanny state, which is only happy when it's stomping on your windpipe and telling you what you're allowed to do with your own free time. Let's start with Exhibit A, shall we? We promised we would reform gambling regulation and strengthen its protections. We have. Brilliant. So the classic, what I used to do every Saturday for about 25 years, since the age of about 15, because this was the good old days where you could still go to the pub when you were in school and nobody used to care because, freedom. Every Saturday for years, you'd go to the pub, early doors, have a couple of pints, you and all your mates would put an accumulator on, drink all day and watch all the footy and all the different TVs, back when Jeff Stelling was entertaining and life was good, and then someone might get a bet up and they'd buy the beer all night, and you'd have a drink and a smoke and a gamble, and you'd really enjoy yourself. Well, you can't do that anymore because the nanny state's in charge now, and drinking's bad for you, and smoking's bad for you, and gambling's bad for you. So what you should do is you should sit in your house in your pyjamas, drinking Horlicks and reading state-funded propaganda. Maybe you should convert to a different religion. Maybe you should be a vegan. Maybe you should sit in a cupboard eating cricket paste and shut up while your betters fly on private jets, eat fillet steaks, and get gobbled off by trafficked children because the politicians love them, don't they? Oh yeah, and here's Exhibit B, just before I go on a rant. From Tahir Ali MP, during PMQs today, I asked the Prime Minister to introduce measures to prohibit desecration of religious texts and targeted vilification of all the prophets of the Abrahamic faiths. Yeah, because you can't go 2 minutes without hearing someone having a pop at Jesus, can you? And all the Christians have been outraged about it for years, haven't they? Oh no, hang on. No, they haven't. It's the followers of the other desert midget that seem to have a bee on the bonnet about it. And obviously Keir Starmer, because he's an overbearing nanny state, knobhead, didn't rule it out. So, guess what's coming, ladies and gents? Blasphemy laws. You're not allowed to tell risque jokes. You're not allowed to smoke. You're not allowed to gamble. And you can't even have a pint. Brilliant. And best of all, if you convert, which is obviously what they want, right? That's coming. If you forcibly convert to that wonderful religion practiced by all of those people who love shouting about Alan's world-famous snack bar, you can't drink and you've got 3 mother-in-laws. Winner. Right then, both of these stories are linked, right? Because it's overbearing nanny state drivel where you're not allowed to do what you want to do and be free. Wasn't that a song? I think I was quoting a song by accident there.
Well, we want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. And we want to get loaded. And we want to have a good time.
Yeah, there it is. You want to be free. Again, how many years have I been saying it? The UK government is acting like Demolition Man was a documentary, right? Nobody wants to live in a society like that. If you want to run down the street covered in green jello while smoking a big cigar, you should be allowed to. And the British government doesn't like people enjoying themselves, does it? That's why you're all going to be converted to an ideology that demands that smoking hot lasses have to go out the house with a bin liner stapled to their head. That's where it's going. It's a tragedy. If everyone looked like Diane Abacus, that big, fat, porridge-faced heffalump, then I wouldn't mind all of these laws they're going to introduce. But unfortunately, thanks to the introduction of, our Nordic neighbours, we actually have attractive women in the UK. I'm not labouring under the delusion that if the Vikings didn't invade, maybe all the lasses would look like Ewoks. But they don't. So can't we enjoy it? No. Can't enjoy women in bikinis in the summer sun. No, not allowed. No booze, no bacon, no birds. Shoot me now. Shoot me now, Keir. And for those of you that think I'm just going for clickbait, and he definitely did, surely the British Prime Minister didn't agree with Mr. Ali, and he just said straight off the bat, this is the UK, we don't have blasphemy laws. Surely he did that, Mr. Bootneck. No, he didn't. You aren't cynical enough, son. Let's play the clip.
Ali!
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. November marks Homophobia Awareness Month. Last year, the United Nations Human Rights Council adopted a resolution condemning the desecration of religious texts, including the despite opposition from the previous government. Acts of such mindless desecration only serve to fuel division and hatred within our society. Will the Prime Minister commit to introducing measures to prohibit the desecration of all religious texts and the prophets of the Abrahamic religions?
Can I agree with him that desecration is awful and I think should be condemned across the House? We are, as I said before, Mr. Speaker, committed to tackling all forms of hatred and division, including, of course, Islamophobia in all of its forms.
And there you have it. And there you have it. Grab your ankles, boys. The blasphemy laws are inbound. Hook-handed cycloptic preachers will be dug up the grandkids faster than you can say Rachel from accounts. All right? That's happening because the man running the UK is lower than a rattlesnake's ball sack, all right? Just to be clear, I'm sure people think they see my ramblings and they go, no, Bootneck's just being hyperbolic. There it is from the rat in a suit's mouth, straight from his own forked tongue, okay? Any Prime Minister worth his salt would stand up and say, this is England, we don't have blasphemy laws, I'm free to point out that the illiterate pot-bellied epileptic dwarf that founded the irrational belief system that you advocate also rattled a 9-year-old girl, so I don't think we should be taking moral lectures from the likes of you. In fact, I'd rather have Gary Glitter in the Houses of Parliament. Anyway, that's just me. Let's move on to the next story. We promised we'd reform gambling regulations. We have, because we love telling you what to do with your free time. You know, amusingly, you can see that the BBC, these state-funded organisations, just exist to further the machinations of the state, the evil, nefarious schemes of our deplorable, degenerate leaders. Because if you go on Google and type in BBC gambling laws, they don't tell you what measures the government's going to take to make your life miserable. They just give you advertisements for why this is a good idea. Observe BBC gambling laws. Oh, look, top stories. Let's have a look. Jack Ritchie's parents hail the huge step for gambling laws. Brilliant. Yeah, it must be a good idea then if Jack Ritchie's parents said so. Gambling. An addict spent wedding night betting a couple's money. He sounds like a nice fella. Let's listen to what he has to say. Gambling slots online to be limited to £5 per spin. Big rise in teenage problem gamblers. So no counterpoints. They're not going to tell you exactly what this nefarious government's up to or give you a counter-argument. The BBC's just going to spam Google with lots and lots of stories about why it's a great idea if the government tells you what to do all day. Also, let's just have it said, that's not a real addiction, that. No way. Real addicts are rock and roll. Have you seen The Wire? When that crack whore tells a story about how she wrote a list of all the things that she'd never do for drugs, and 2 weeks later she realised she just wrote a list of all the things she was definitely going to do for drugs. You don't see gamblers noshing off 10 blokes at once like some sort of perverted plate spinner because they want to get more money for a fruit machine, do you? That's how you can tell it's not a real one. No. If it's a real addiction, you'd suck your granddad's balls for a hit. And I'm sorry, I have never once heard a single case of a bloke from my hometown giving Gramps a chew because he just needed another pound coin for the fruit machine. Okay, so there we go. Not a problem. Easy. To sum up, the government is completely out of control. You are living in an authoritarian hellscape and there's nothing you can do about it. Things have to get much, much, much worse before the normies wake up. Everybody kicks off and things actually get a little bit better. All right, so buckle up. Keep watching the Bootneck. I will do my best to keep your morale high over the coming years when you are going to be ground beneath the iron-shod heels of the authoritarian communists that now run the country. All right? That's all I can give you. That's the only silver lining. I have now got refugee status in the United States after showing them a harrowing PowerPoint display of the amount of death, misery and corpses strewn across Linthorpe Road in Middlesbrough, so I can keep doing this free from the machinations of the British government. So every cloud, right? Every cloud. That'll have to do you for the day. Please let me know in the comments if you think we should definitely stop people from drinking and smoking and gambling, because that is, you know, why would you want to have the sucker of something interesting to do on your minuscule amount of time off from your underpaid job. Or if you agree that telling jokes about one specific religion, because, you know, they've mocked and took the piss out of G-Boo and the Curly Sideys Brigade, they've took the piss out of them with impunity for 30 years and nobody really seemed to think it was a problem. But apparently it's all faiths and prophets that need to be protected. Yeah. If you believe that, you think old Eppers managed to hang himself in a big concrete room with no furnishings. Yeah, makes loads of sense. Anyway, I'm done. Please like and share the video if you can be bothered, and I'll see you all tomorrow, all right? It's Thanksgiving. I'll make a video about it. All right, see you tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.